All right, welcome to another film breakdown. I had to take my camera off for this one because it just was in the way with the CW camera. I was taking up the corner for the first couple minutes, so I just decided to go no camera here. So a straight audio. Duke stays golden against the Pony Boys, 89-62. Chris Carawell, maybe the best coach in college basketball history, 1,000% winning percentage, 1-0 in his coaching debut. Duke's offense continues to roll, 3 straight ACC games with 80 or more points. SMU came in as a hot offense. Duke held them to 62 points. Defense travels, right? So Duke could have put up their 65 points, or people were worried about the offense. They still would have won because their defense is just that damn good. But luckily, Duke was on top of their P's and Q's offensively and defensively. And so we're going to go right into it. Going to be a dribble handoff action, but turns into a flare screen for Knueppel to try and get downhill. Nothing there. So now Proctor gets ball screen action, and Proctor is really good at ball screen action. We see Knueppel in it all the time. Duke's always in it, but Proctor, this is one of his strengths. Just turns the corner and the stutter step to read the drop coverage. His patience here, where he stutter steps, allows him to get a driving lane because Common's defender goes to attach to him rather than stopping ball, and Tyrese Proctor gets an easy lay-in. Here is a fantastic defense possession by Kon Knueppel. Knueppel, one thing about him that's underrated is his defense. If you remember, there was a camp, an elite camp, I guess, with college guards, college players, and there was a one-on-one clip of Kon Knueppel forcing RJ Davis to shoot an air ball. So he's a pretty damn good one-on-one defender, pretty underrated. Here makes his guy pick up his dribble. And now SMU, with 10 seconds on the shot clock, they're going to ball screen action. It's guard-to-guard exchange, so you switch it. So now Knueppel is switched against a quicker offensive player in Boopie Miller. Boopie was the leading scorer for SMU, but right here, Knueppel gets the better of him. Stays in front and blocks it out of bounds. This is a really good play by Kon Knueppel. And then Duke off and running is a sight to see. 1-2, Knueppel, bang. But what really sets up Duke in transition is Common Mile Watch. I've pointed him out before in these film breakdowns in transition, but again, just watch how hard he runs the floor. Common Mile Watch runs so hard to get to the front of the rim. He rim runs to where Knueppel's guy is now bumping man and trying to stop a rim run to where he is now all the way in the play with Tyrese Proctor and left his man wide open. And Boopie Miller tries to recover for his teammate, but it's too late. And that's all set up by Common Mile Watch's ability to run the floor. And then Sion James. 7 assists in the first half, 8 assists on the game. Had a double-double last game with points and rebounds. Like I just said, had 8 assists this game. The guy is as steady as they come. Just under control, crowded area, skip past Tyrese Proctor, shooting an outstanding percentage for Duke from three. And one thing about Tyrese Proctor is he's been very consistent this season for Duke. That's kind of been his MO. The last 2 years is inconsistency. This season, he has scored double digits in every game except for 2. And one of those games, he only played 23 minutes. I think it was against Incarnate Word. So Tyrese Proctor has been as steady as they come for Duke. And then that's what Common Mile Watch can do right there. Just send it back. That is something that Common Mile Watch has done well for Duke. He has several goaltends as well, but the guy is active when the shot goes up. SMU tries to throw a little wrinkled press. And one thing about this Duke team, too, is you cannot go zone because, one, Duke will shoot you out of the zone, but two, Cooper Flagg is so good in the middle of the zone that it exposes it immediately. And you see it right here. Just watch when Cooper Flagg catches this, the assertiveness in his decision making. Catch, pull up immediately. I mean, that's a 7-2 guy, guard, a 7-2 defender coming to guard him. And I mean, right when he catches, he knows what he's going to do. Catch and rise, bucket. And then, again, mid-range for Cooper Flagg. If you watch the film breakdown of last game, Duke ran this set over and over against Virginia Tech. It's a cross screen, down screen for Cooper Flagg. He rejects the cross screen set by Tyrese Proctor, so he's going to use the down screen by Kon Knueppel. What we saw against Virginia Tech was either one of those were open for a dunk and a three. Well, this time, SMU does a pretty good job of making this a no shot. And so now Cooper Flagg has to make a play. And Cooper Flagg says, thank you very much. 1-2, pull up. I'm the number one pick in the NBA draft. And then, again, follow up, dunk. I am the number one pick in the NBA draft. But what a pass by Malik Brown, something that he's done all year as well. Something Sion James has done all year with his cutting ability. Just spread the floor out with an action on the strong side, so it sets up a weak side backdoor. Sion James misses, but Cooper Flagg's motor, he flushes. And then I wish I would have clipped this the whole defensive segment here, but outstanding contest by Sion James for Boopy Miller to miss this layup. Duke's off and running. And again, the reason Duke gets a shot out of here on this possession is look how hard Kon Knueppel is rim running. He rim runs. Now they're off balance. Caleb Foster skip for a three. Now active hands. Cooper Flagg pokes it away. Again, Duke running in transition. Keep it high. Nice play. Nice dump down by Tyrese Proctor. Good job by Malawach to play 7-2 and not drop it to his chest. So here, Mason Gillis. Mason Gillis has played very well for Duke these last couple of games. Probably his best game in a Duke uniform was against SMU. Had 7 points and a couple boards in 15 minutes. Again, handoff to Caleb Foster, and then this is the type of Caleb Foster you love to see. Getting downhill with a purpose. Should have been an and one with the body contact, and he finishes anyways. Probably my favorite Caleb Foster game of the season, 9 points off the bench for Duke. Just, again, his decision-making, when he comes off of a handoff or ball screen and tries to get downhill, good things happen more times than not for Caleb Foster, and that should have been a three-point play. So Duke's in a 1-4 set, 1-4 flat, and basically it's a ball screen. You saw Caleb Foster tap his head right here. It's a head tap. Tyrese Proctor does a head tap, and then Foster does a head tap again, signaling to Malawach to go set a ball screen. So it's just ball screen. But since SMU was blitzing the ball screen, Malawach slips it. And since Malawach slips, and now there's two guys on Proctor, SMU's off balance defensively. Proctor finds the open man and Foster, and now Duke resets. So it wasn't much there, but Duke's ability to avoid or audible against a blitz coverage ball screen gets Duke back to their strengths. Now Sion James going one-on-one, makes the right decision. Like I said, Mason Gillis, his best game of the season, catch and shoot three. Again, Duke off and running. Proctor doing his best R.J. Barrett impression against Louisville. But it's fine. Duke's still in something. Always moving. And here's just a simple curl by Mason Gillis to the rim. So Duke gets the defensive rebound and tries to push. Nothing's there, but they don't turn stagnant. They just go into a secondary set. Throw it to Sion James. Proctor is always communicating, pointed to Malawach to set a screen for Mason Gillis. So now he sets it. Mason Gillis, a great read on the screen. Just a lazy ball screen coverage by SMU lets Mason Gillis go right downhill to the cup. And again, here comes just a down screen for Cooper Flagg. And it's pretty much an ISO situation. Malawash is going to set a screen, but now it's just Cooper Flagg with the ball in his hands, make a decision. And he throws it up to the big fellow who taps it in. But again, a good set that Duke's ran all year. Cooper Flagg's the ball handler. Let him make a play in the two-man game. We've seen it with him as the ball handler in a two-man game. We've seen that with him as the roller in a two-man game. Here, it's him and Malawash. And honestly, this is why you love to have a center that's 7'2". UNC cannot relate to that, but the help is there. Like Sion James is open in the corner, and is that Mason Gillis that's coming free too? So he could have skipped it for a three to either one of those guys. But he decides to throw up to the big fella, and he just out-jumps the smaller guard and lays it in. And then Boobie Miller, he's twitchy. Good defense by Sion James, staying in front of him, staying with him. And now it's one-on-one in the post, and the big fella for SMU is starting his back down on the Moody Coliseum logo. But the one thing about Common that he needs to continue to work on is not leaving his feet. It's good that he's a shot blocker. It's good that he wants to contest, but he did this a couple of times against SMU, and he's done it throughout the year, but it's part of his growing pains. Just stay on your feet. Don't go for that shot fake, because now Malawash goes for the shot fake. The ball goes up, and then Malawash is out of the play. Watch Malawash just drifts away from the rim. The shot's off, but Malawash is too far away to get the defensive rebound. Miss again by his guy. 6 with it. Second chance points. Just good movement by Sion James. Play now ball screen action with Kon Knueppel. Attacks the bigger and slower defender. Again, body bump could have been a three-point play. But Kon Knueppel in the pick and roll game, good things happen. And now Sion James, just grown man strength, get downhill, rejects the ball screen. All it is two-man game, but he rejects it. He points, hey, Malik, send me a screen right here. By doing that, the defender's going to cheat it, and which he did. His left leg is higher than the right, so it leaves him vulnerable for a drive to the left. Sion recognizes it. Sion gets downhill. Sion finishes. Again, good defense by Kon Knueppel there, forces a miss, and then here's just a diabolical possession by Cooper Flagg. Loses it on the drive. Close your eyes, Duke fans, but Duke maintains it and then swings it around, and then Cooper Flagg's going to hit this. And one thing about Flagg, so far in the last 4 games for Duke, he is 7 of 14 from three. He's shooting 50% from three. And if you go back the last 6 games, I think it is, we just recorded the Big J and Little J show to preview the Pittsburgh game. And I pulled up his free throws. I think it's the last 6 games. He's shooting 93% from the free throw line. So Cooper Flagg, his shot diet is all of a sudden turning very efficient for Duke. Again, good defense, but got a rebound on those. But I did clip this up because Malik Brown does a really good job initially. He just gets shoved out of the way. So good defense by Cooper Flagg here. Good defense and great steal by Malik Brown. Big fella's trying to get in front of Malik Brown, 7'2" against 6'8", trying to stay in front of him or get in front of him. Malik Brown saying, no, you're not, and now boxing out the big fella, and the big fella just pushes Malik Brown a little bit to get better position, and then Duke gets called for a foul. And sometimes it's going to happen when Malik Brown is playing a guy that's 7'2". He's not going to win every matchup on the glass, but he's going to make it hard for them to catch the ball in half court. Again, cannot guard Duke, cannot play zone against Duke because Cooper Flagg is assertive when he's in the middle of a zone offense. Quick pass from Malik Brown, the floor is shifted. Kon Knueppel catch and shoot 3. I'm trying to go back just a little bit further. So again, Cooper Flagg shows, and he's aggressive on his show. An immediate, doesn't even land on his feet, throws it right to Malik Brown. Duke gets a clean look. Kon Knueppel shooting about 40% from three in the last 3 games for Duke. Active hands by Malik Brown, as we've seen throughout the year, just disrupts this whole possession. And then, like I said, Boopie Miller was the leading scorer for SMU, but he had difficult looks. Good defense possession by Duke all the way around, starting with Malik Brown. And then I have this clipped up as I pause it. Just Mason Gillis is a maniac. Mason Gillis just puts his head right in the defender's face, daring them to hit him with his elbow. So right here, first rip through, misses. Second one, misses. Might have hit him actually a little bit, but Mason Gillis doesn't get flustered because now he gets hit, he bounces back, and on this handoff, they switch it, and he's back in this guy's grill. Just look at this. Look where his face is. He is daring the offensive player to headbutt him, elbow him. Doesn't matter. Mason Gillis is not moving except to play defense. Good defense possession by Gillis. Now the offensive player has him on his hip, but Malawash does a really good job of now taking over for Mason Gillis. So they switch, and now all of a sudden the small guard is shooting a fadeaway over a 7'2" guy, and Malawash does a really good job of getting back in the play to get the rebound for Duke. Just a very good defensive possession by Duke. Like that type of defensive possession is what you've seen throughout this whole year for Duke, and that's why they've proven that not only are they physically tough, but they're mentally tough, and they just show out defensively night in and night out. Again, flare screen action for Kon Knueppel, 1-2 with his feet. Good screen by Kon Malawash to allow Kon Knueppel for that 3. This is so weird that I can't see my face. I'm just talking to a screen. But hopefully this is the only time this happens this season as Duke played on the CW. And then Caleb Foster doing Caleb Foster things. Good things happen when Caleb Foster drives downhill. And again, another good defensive possession for Duke. I'll let that play through so you guys can see. If you've been following these defensive breakdowns or film breakdowns and defensively, Duke's had trouble communicating on guard-to-guard switches at times. Here, Mason Gillis and Cooper Flagg do a very good job of communicating. Flagg takes Mason Gillis's. Mason Gillis takes Flagg's guy on the cut, and now they go ball screen action. Good drop coverage here by Malawash as Proctor gets hit on the screen. And the hesitation by Malawash playing two, he's dropping, but he's also showing to the guard. The guard is shooting a floater from behind the free throw line. That is such a low percentage shot for a guard to shoot, and that's just good defense by Duke, a good defense possession. And now Duke's running, and Cooper Flagg penetrating kick to Tyrese Proctor, who, again, lights out for Duke from 3. And then how about Mason Gillis? Duke running in transition. Mason Gillis punches one. First dunk of the year for Mason Gillis. Again, defensive possession here. Switched against a smaller guard. Does not matter. Just creating havoc. Does not matter. This team guards, dude. This team guards. Set a ball screen to try and get a taller Cooper Flagg against Boopie Miller for a mismatch, and Boopie's just in hell. We saw him in hell against Kon Knueppel. He's in hell against Cooper Flagg. Both shots blocked. Now here's a cross screen, down screen for Knueppel. Turns into ball screen action. Lob to the big fella. Go get it, Mr. Man. Again, cross screen, down screen action. It's not there. Good rejection by Caleb Foster to the cup and one. This is Caleb Foster with confidence. This is Caleb Foster playing his game. This isn't him overthinking and being a robot out there. This is Caleb Foster playing his game. Cross screen, even though Flagg wasn't paying attention, to a down screen. And it's not there because Caleb Foster's man is cheating that pass. But with him cheating that pass, he gives up a driving lane. And Caleb Foster reacts perfectly, does not hesitate, gets downhill, leans his body into the bigger defender, gets a three-point play attempt. That's what you love to see with Caleb Foster. And then Kon Knueppel, just, again, the guy, he crashes the boards, he passes the rock, and good things happen when the ball's in his hands. Gets the defensive rebound, go until somebody stops you. In and out dribble, gives them the angle, three-point play because nobody stopped the ball. We'll end with this one. Again, cross screen, and it was going to be a down screen action, but Knueppel just cheats it to where he's going to go up top, leads to two-man game, throws the lob again to the big fella, Kamamalawachu, who flushes it. This Duke team, man, we've seen it defensively all year. Offensively, has had some struggles in non-conference play, but the last three games, like I said at the beginning of the video, 80 points or more in the last three games, and all of them in the ACC. Duke has a big test tomorrow against Pittsburgh. I wish I would have had this out sooner. I'll have the Pittsburgh one out almost as soon as possible once that game ends to get it out for you guys. But it's a big game for Duke. Duke's defense needs to keep showing up because Pittsburgh has guys that hit tough ones. But also we'd love to see Duke continue to make shots and run ACC teams out of the gym. And so maybe that can happen tomorrow night against Pittsburgh. So I appreciate you guys watching. And next time, I promise I will be on the screen instead of off the screen.